Here's how to not be a commodity in the roofing industry. And number one, it's don't just do insurance claims. And I'm gonna make sure this is all written down one by one. Make sure you're taking notes with me. Don't just, and I'll make sure I underline this, do insurance, we'll just write it over here, claims. So don't just do insurance claims. This is kind of like smoking crack. And I know this is a really weird explanation, but when you start doing these projects where it's like a 90% close rate, what is the main objection to someone not doing an insurance claim with you? Well, they just don't trust you. And if you've been a company that's been around for, let's say, 5-10 years, chances are they wouldn't mind going with you. They wouldn't mind you guiding them through the process, you selling the job to an adjuster. So it's quite easy to close an insurance project. And don't get me wrong, we're the marketers, stoymedia.com. An insurance claim, you can imagine it. What's the biggest objection? Nothing really. So if you want to remain not a commodity, you got to get good at selling. And this is why I say don't just do insurance claims. Because if you're just in the insurance claim game, then what makes you different from the guy down the street who can also know how to take me through the insurance process? Well, nothing really. So we want to make sure that you have good sales skills. And this is another one. It plays into you having good sales skills because if you advertise, you have a brand out there, you need to have a good offer. And I talk about this as being the number one thing that like influences ads. If you want to have good ads, you got to have a good offer. And if you want to be different from everyone else, you got to have a good offer. What does every roofing company in the industry say that they are offering? Get a free quote. Finding out how much your project is just quite literally isn't that enticing. But what can separate you? Things like lifetime warranties. And I know Apple Roofing did this. Long warranties. And when you think about a warranty, that doesn't mean that 10 years down the line when the roof has deteriorated, it doesn't mean that you're going to come back out and fix it because the sun has just had its part on it. No, it means that you're protected against you installing it wrong. So if you have a long warranty, that makes you different. See, you're not a commodity anymore because you have a longer warranty. That means you're going to come out in a longer period of time. They trust you. They have less fear around going with you versus the other guy who, let's be real, people realize that contractors can sometimes steal, and this is kind of an industry where you got to have some trust. So making sure you have a good warranty is part of having a good offer, but what else would you want to offer? Things like financing. We put together a whole offer framework for the clients that work with Stoy Media. You're going to have to get onboarded. You can go book a call at stoymedia.com, but to actually find out our offer framework, you got to get onboarded. But having a good offer, having a good warranty is what separates you. Now, number 3, building a brand. And I have a completely different video on how to build a brand. I'll link it somewhere up here in the top of the screen. But building a brand is insanely easy if you understand what the really like the basics of building a brand is. But building a brand does not just mean posting on social medias 5 times a week. And I know this is going out, so don't worry about it. That doesn't mean posting 5 times a week. Yes, it does mean that that is a way to grow your brand, and that is an action that you need to take to grow your brand. But if you want to know how to grow your brand, click on the video up here. It probably should be in the top right, and it's going to say home service brand. Anyways, building a brand is the 3rd way to differentiate your company, because what you can do with the brand is leverage your price. So for example, why do people pay $1,000 for an iPhone over an Android that probably has better features? Well, I believe they actually do if you look into it. Android has better features, they have all these other things, but why do people still keep paying for an $1,000 iPhone? Well, it's because they're Apple. That's why. That's the reason why people get iPhones at such an expensive price. That's why people get, for example, designer. If you look at Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these different things, the only reason they're that expensive is because of the brand. And so number 1, with a brand, your roofing company can charge more, which I actually don't condone it, because you see what the private equities do. They gouge homeowners out of prices and they charge exorbitant amounts of money. I don't condone this, but you can charge a little bit more so that you can hire a better team. You can have better financing plans. You can have better trucks that don't always break down in your sales reps. So you can have the ability to pay your people more, have better employees, have A players, and To do that, you have to charge more. So that is one thing that you can get out of having a good brand. But another thing is that you can just get free leads. I know everyone likes this. It's very enticing to hear that you can get free leads off of just building a brand. And by the way, as I mentioned, it's going to be up there. Go ahead and watch that video. It gives you a literal basic to basic how to grow a home service brand. But what I'm trying to say is you can get free leads out of having a brand. Why? Because when people hear you on the radio, they hear you from your friends, they hear from all these different places, you now have this brand reputation in their mind. And so when it comes time that they're on the desk, they're looking up roofing companies near me, you may just pop up to their mind. For example, Stanley Steamer, very easy name to remember. You probably know what they did because they ran ads for so long. They spent all this time marketing themselves. Everyone knows their name. And now they probably don't have to market. It's, for example, when companies grow to a certain size, and this can be your roofing company as well, they eventually stop advertising. And it's because their brand has grown so large after advertising for so long that they just get free leads. People just keep opting in on their website. They may not be doing as much SEO. They may not be doing as much content marketing, but people just keep opting in. Why? Because they know the name. Apple Roofing. Tecta America is definitely a great example, but they don't do a lot of marketing. I'm sure they do a lot of relationship building and buying companies. Power Home Remodeling. I think it was called Ramos Roofing, or I don't remember which one it was, where it recently just shut down after being open for 90 years. Like big brands like that. And I know a great example is Apple Roofing because they are huge. They have a limited lifetime warranty, and I promise you, they get a bunch of free leads. Because, oh, another one, Monarch Roofing. So all of these big companies, they get a handful of free leads all the time because they are who they are. It's kind of like going to McDonald's versus going to somewhere else, like a small mom and pop restaurant. Well, it's because you know McDonald's. You've heard McDonald's. You've heard McDonald's everywhere. And that's why they don't really spend that much on marketing. I mean, I'm sure they spend a lot, but compared to what they could be doing, I'm sure they don't spend as much as they should or could. And so if you've gotten anything from this video, you have to, number one, I'd recommend number one, and I will make a different video about the insurance claim trap because as I mentioned, it's a very slippery slope you can get into by just insurance claim after insurance claim after insurance claim because the entire sales process for doing insurance is nothing. It's show up and just don't mess it up. Having a good offer, quite easy to do, especially if you understand it, but having a good offer, having a good warranty can make you different from the competition. And lastly, growing a brand, you've heard this absolutely everywhere, and I will link resources for this. But growing a brand allows you to charge more, get free leads, get more for your marketing, which I didn't even mention, which if you stayed around for this long, great for you, but you can get more for your money. You can put in the same amount of money as company B and get more for it. If that's not an amazing benefit, I don't know what else could be. And so if you've gotten anything out of this and you're looking for help on your marketing, feel free to visit stoymedia.com, opt in, we'll get you set up with a call and we'll just make sure if this partnership can work. And if not, just check out one of these videos. I hope you keep learning and I hope this all makes sense. If you have any questions, please drop a comment in the description.